Yes, guys. Now we will go through the questions from ICI material. First set of question is multiple choice questions. First, the type of process loss that should not be allowed to affect the cost of good units is abnormal loss, normal loss, seasonal loss, standard loss. Abnormal loss. Why so? Because we will value it separately and send it to costing P&L account. Or we will transfer it to abnormal loss account. From there, we will transfer the net loss to costing P&L account. So this will not affect our cost of production. Second one, 200 units were introduced in a process in which 20 units is a normal loss. That means expected good units is how much? 180. If the actual output is 150, then there is a abnormal loss how much? 30. Very good. Abnormal loss of 30 units. 100 units are processed at a total cost of 160. Normal loss is 10%. That means 10 units. And scrap units are sold at 0.25 each. If the output is 80 units, then the value of abnormal loss, see the twister. See, some students calculate the value of output here. Because what they have mentioned here is output units. Abnormal loss is how much? 10. Okay, guys, first, abnormal loss is 10 units. So let us calculate the total cost first. 160 is already given. 160 is already given. Minus scrap value. How many units? 10 units. How did I get 10 units? 100 into 10%. Okay. Into what is the scrap value of it? 0.25. Whole divided by 100 minus 10. Okay. This is cost per unit. Into how many units are the abnormal loss? 10. So how did you get 10? 100 minus 10% is 90 expected output, but we actually got an output of only 80 units. That means there is an abnormal loss of 10 units, guys. So into 10 units. Amount, please. 17.50. 17.50. So the answer is C. Okay, so next coming to the fourth one. When average method is used in process costing, the opening inventory costs are dash. When average method, opening inventory, should we add it, guys? Yes. What do we do? We will take opening WIP cost plus the current period cost and calculate the total divided by equivalent units to get what? Weighted average price per equivalent unit. Per equivalent unit. Let us see. Subtracted from the new cost? No. Added to the new cost. See, here new cost is nothing but current period cost. Kept separate from the cost of the new period? No. Averaged with the other cost to arrive at total cost. See, we are not sure about what is that other cost. So out of the given, what is the correct answer? B. Added to the new cost. Guys, here new cost is nothing but the current period cost. Okay, so next, spoilage that occurs under inefficient operating condition and is ordinarily controlled is called controllable loss they are talking about. What is it? Abnormal spoilage. Guys, about spoilage, defective and all, we already learned in material chapter. At the end of material chapter, I have covered it. What is spoilage and defective? At the end of production process, we may get either the spoilage or defective, which is not ready to sell. Which is not ready to sell. Sir, it is not in a saleable condition. Yes. But if it is a defective, I can rectify it by incurring some additional cost. Whereas if it is a spoilage, no sir, I cannot rectify it. Maybe I can put for a scrap and get some minimum value, but I cannot make it as a good units. Yeah, this is just a recall. Okay, abnormal spoilage. Next, the cost of normal process loss is. The cost of normal process loss is. Okay. Absorbed by good units produced and amount realized by the sale of loss units, that is nothing but scrap value, should be debited to process account. Sir, this sentence is wrong. First part of that answer is right. Second part is missing because we will credit it to process account. Correct? Huh? Scrap value we will credit it to process account. Guys, please be careful because I know as soon as you read the first part, it will be tempting you that yes, A is the answer. Please read it fully. Debited to costing profit and loss account? No, we will not treat it separately. Then observed by good units produced? Yes, let us observe the last one. Debited to costing profit and loss account and amount realized by the sale of loss units should be credited. As here you see, second part is correct, but not the first part. Second part is correct, but not the first part. That means the answer out of the given option is C, guys. Clear? Observed by good units. I already told you they use the word good units, but it's actually expected good units or normal output, guys. Clear? Yes, sir. The value of abnormal loss is equal to total cost of materials The total process cost less realizable value of normal loss, total process cost less cost of scrap, total process cost less realizable value of normal loss, less value of value transferred out to goods. That is nothing but output transferred to next process. What is the answer, guys? D. Okay, means they are trying to tell, sir, abnormal loss, how do you calculate as a balancing figure? On the credit side, you will remove the scrap value of their normal loss units. Yes. Then the cost of output, what is the balancing figure? Abnormal loss. Correct. Assuming there is no closing WAP. If that is there, then we have to deduct that also. We have to deduct that also. Or, and you may tell me, sir, this also is correct, no, sir. But out of the given option, here they have also reduced output. Cost of output. So in that case, what would be the balancing figure on the credit side? Abnormal loss, guys. So for me, the answer should be D, guys, not B. If okay, let me tell that also. If assume D option was not at all given, something else was given, then I would have selected okay, maybe B. Clear? Yes, because to calculate the value of abnormal loss, what do we do, guys? Total cost minus scrap value of normal loss divided by total input minus normal loss units into abnormal loss units. Clear? If at all, if this option would have not been there, then maybe I would have gone for B. Okay, sure. Next, inter-process profit is calculated because a process is a cost center. Each process has to report profit. There is no hard and fast rule. Company expected, but we cannot mandate everyone has to make profit. The efficiency of the process is measured. The wages of employees are linked to process profitability. What is the answer, guys? C. See, if you ask me, even D can be correct. But which is the most appropriate is C. Because sometimes what happens, companies do that. Okay, for each process, whatever the number of employees are there, see, if you perform better, if you help it to earn more profit, we will give you bonus, we will give you incentives. They will try to motivate the employees by telling this. Clear? So in that case, what happens? The employees in each process, they perform better. They perform better. Okay, but what is the main agenda of inter-process profit is to measure the efficiency or productivity of each process cuts. That is the main purpose. Ninth one. Under weighted average method, the cost of complete the opening WIP is ignored. No, we will consider it. Under FIFO, we ignore it because we will consider only the work done during the current period under FIFO. Yes, sir. Next, the cost to complete the opening WIP and other completed units are calculated separately. No. The cost of opening work in progress and the cost of current period are aggregated. Yes. And the aggregate cost is divided by output in terms of completed units. Correct, guys. Let me read the last one also. Closing stock of work in progress is valued at current cost. No, it is valued at what? Weighted cost. That is weighted average price. 10th one. A process account is debited by abnormal gain. The value is determined as. So we will show it on the debit side. How do we determine its value? Equal to value of abnormal loss sum? No. Cost of good units less realizable value of normal loss sum? We will see. Cost of good units less realizable value of actual loss sum? No. Actual loss, see, normal loss is different, actual loss is different. Actual loss will include abnormal loss also. That is total loss. Equal to value of good units less closing stock. Equal to the value of good units, okay, less closing stock. So out of the given option, it should be B. Cost of good units less realizable value of normal loss. Clear? That is on the top numerator. On the denominator, what do we do? Sir, total input minus normal loss units into the abnormal gain units. They are not given the complete information here, but out of the given, it is B, guys. Just check it. What is the suggestion answer given there? 10th one? B only, na? Yes. Because that is also actually not complete sentence, guys. In my opinion, that is also not complete sentence because multiplier and all they have not mentioned. Question number 10th, right? 10th or 11th? 10th, B. Yes, come back. Only the numerator part they have given. Only the numerator part they have given. Oh, check. 11th one. Lean Labs develops 15 mm film using a 4-step process. Okay, 4-step process that moves progressively through 4 departments. The company specializes in overnight service and has the largest drugstore chain as its primary customer. Currently, the direct labor, direct materials, and overheads are accumulated by the departments. Means currently they are going with department wise. The cost accumulated system that best describes the system Lean Labs is using is called as what? Process cost. For each process, they are calculating the cost separately, guys. When compared with the normal spoilage, abnormal spoilages arises more frequently from factors that are inherent in manufacturing process. No, the wrong. Then second one, it is given the same accounting treatment as normal. No, is generally thought to be more controllable by purchase department than the production department. Actually, it is vice versa. Who should control it? Production department. Okay, the last one is like that only. Sir, already all three are out. Last one left is D. Is not typically influenced by tightness of production standards. Is not typically influenced by tightness of production standards. Sir, if I tight the production standard, will my abnormal loss come down? Yes. It will come down. Correct. Yes. Means if I make sure that in production there is no loss, more loss, then I can try to reduce it. Okay. So this one. So if you tighten up the production standard, then actually you can avoid the abnormal loss, or at least you can reduce it. Or 13th, assume 550 units were worked on during a period in which a total of 500 good units were completed. Normal spoilage consists of 30. That means 20 is what, guys? Abnormal loss. Okay, they only give. Abnormal spoilage is 20 units. Total production cost were 2,200. The company accounts for abnormal spoilage separately on the income statement as loss due to abnormal spoilage. Normal spoilage is not accounted for separately. We know all this. Okay, still story has been built. What is the cost of good units produced? Come on, guys. Now, what is the cost first of all? 2,200. Is there any scrap value? No, that means 0. Divided by 550 minus normal loss how much? 30, right? 30 into 500 into 500. So 2,200 divided by 520 into 500. Hello? Quickly. 115. Option B. 2,115. Any doubt in this? Got it. Next, 14th one. IC Limited. You want to take them? If anything to be added in the, even though you have a ICI material, guys, there is no explanation given for the MCQs here. Only for case scenarios they give explanation. So if you want to take down anything, please mark it. IC Limited uses process costing system and inspect its goods post manufacturing. An engineer noticed on May 31st the following: good units completed 15,000, normal spoilage 300, abnormal spoilage 100. Guys, if I ask you what is the total input, how much is that? 15,400. Unit cost were material 2.5 and conversion cost, labor and overhead 6. Okay, so total manufacturing cost I can tell it as 8.5. The number of units that the company would transfer to its finished goods stock and related cost of these units are. How many units are transferred to finished goods? Already we know it. How much is that? 15,000 units. That means D is as of now ruled out. D is ruled out. Another 3 is there in our option. Okay. The cost of it they are asking. Guys, listen here. Listen here. Shh. Sir, material cost 2.5 they are given. Conversion cost 6 they are given. Now for spoilage, I would have incurred only material cost or including conversion cost. Only material cost or including conversion cost. Come on, tell me. It is including conversion cost. Why, sir? Spoilage at what point do we get it? Is it at the beginning or at the end of the production process? At the end of production process. That means I would have incurred conversion cost. Yes. See, theory knowledge sometimes help in problems also. If you don't know what is spoilage, maybe you will get confused. Maybe you will get confused. Correct, right? Defective and spoilage is something which we get at the end of the production process. That means you would have already incurred the conversion cost also. Yes, sir. Now, what happens? I would have incurred 8.5 rupees even on the normal spoilage as well as abnormal spoilage. Yes, I would have incurred. Now, what is the cost of output? Guys, listen, see all. 15,400 is the total input. For each, what is the cost? 8.5. That is 2 plus 6.5. Minus, there is no scrap value. Divided by input minus normal loss units, which is 15,400 minus 300. Into, what is the good number of units? 15,000. Into 15,000. Okay, it is in the corner. Hope it is visible for you. So, what is the cost of it? We will get 1,30,033. 1,30,033. Where the nearest one is B, guys. The nearest one is B. Now they have given 1,30,050. I also tried working out. Okay, how they would have done. Okay, because we got 33. If I do like this is the correct calculation. This is the correct calculation. We will get how much? 1,30,033. Yes, sir. So the nearest one I can pick it as 1,30,050. But I also worked out how did they get 1,30,050? It might be like this. They would have considered only 15,300 into 8.5 into 8.5 means listen here, sir. They have spread entire normal spoilage for what? Only for output means output is only 15,000. For that, they have also added the cost of what? Normal loss units. They use the dialogue now one normal loss cost, whatever is there will be observed by good units. Here they have kept only for good units. Sir, will also abnormal loss observe the normal loss? Yes. Actually, yes. Clear. But here, what they would have done in order to get this 1,30,050, what calculation they would have done is, guys, 15,300 into 8.5. Clear. Means entire normal loss, they have tried to shift it to whom? Good units only. Sir, what about abnormal loss? They have just valued at 8.5. 100 into 8.5. Is it a right treatment, sir? It is not a right treatment because normal loss has to be spread over good units as well as abnormal loss. Clear? Yes, that is what we have learned. Even in the problems, they follow that only. Only here they would have followed this, guys. Is that clear, sir? What is the right way? Whatever I have shown here. Whatever I have shown here, guys. Yes, sure. We will move forward. Okay, we are done with the MCQ. Next, come to the practical problems. Practical problems. An English willow company who manufacture cricket bat buys wood as its direct material. The forming department processes the cricket bats and the cricket bats are then transferred to finishing department where stickers are applied. The forming department began manufacturing 10,000 initial bats during the month of December for the first time and their cost is as follows. What are those? One by one. Direct material 33,000. Conversion cost 17,000. So total cost comes to 50,000. A total of 8,000 cricket bats were completed and transferred to finishing department. And the rest 2,000 were still in process at the end of the month. That means there is no loss. Yes. All of the forming department direct material were placed. But on average, only 25% of the conversion cost was applied to ending work in progress. Guys, come on. For this 2,000, what is the degree of completion with respect to material? 100%. With respect to conversion, conversion is nothing but labor and overhead. Labor and overhead. What is the degree of completion? 25%. Oh, very simple question. Calculate equivalent units of production for each cost, the conversion cost per equivalent unit, cost of closing WAP, and finished products. Whenever it is cricket, I just love it. Because I was a cricket player and now only viewer. Okay. And you know, in income tax, GST and all, I connect section to the jersey numbers. Jersey number, correct? If you are a pure cricket fan, you will at least know some important players' jersey number. Don't know, leave it, but no problem. If you remember, you can connect. Correct. A capital gains charging section, you know. Huh? 45. 45. What is the jersey number of Indian cricket team captain? 45 capital gains. Correct. Section 7 is what? Huh? Hey, section 7 okay. Deemed to be received. Income deemed to be received. Deemed to be received. Dhoni. What is the jersey number? Okay, continue, madam. Come to the answer. Calculation. I come back. Calculation of equivalent units of production. Units produced, sorry, units introduced is 10,000. There is no opening WAP. There is no opening WAP. Hey, Amir Khan, paying attention. Units introduced 10,000. Finished output 8,000. Closing WAP 2,000. With respect to finished output, guys, 100% complete. 100% complete. Then closing WAP how much? 100 material, whereas conversion is only 21. Guys, please be careful here. Labor overhead is not given separately. They are given together. You also take like that only. Clear? Yes. Fine, sir. So equivalent units with respect to material is 10,000. With respect to conversion cost is 8,500. Sir, which method are we following? Will it matter here? Hello, opening WAP is not there. Will it matter here? No. ಅದು ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂತದ್ದು ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗಿವನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಐ ಡೂ ಅಂತ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ WAP only is not there no ಪವನ್ calculation of cost per equivalent unit total cost material conversion is given just divided by equivalent units guys you can give the notations A B this is A by B A by B 3.3 for material and 2 for conversion cost guys now valuing the work in progress direct material what is the equivalent units 2000 into what is the cost per equivalent unit 3.3 you will get 6,600 then conversion cost 500 into cost what is the cost per equivalent unit 2 so how much is the amount 1000 what is the amount 1000 so total comes to 7,600 what is it cost of closing work in progress then cost of finished products guys they have done it separately better do it as statement of evaluation you remember now how we do statement of evaluation in one statement only you can calculate both the cost of finished goods here also direct material equivalent units how much 8,000 complete into 3.3 and here conversion cost 8,000 into 2 okay and for output guys what I suggest is straight away take total 8,000 into 5.3 8,000 into 5.3 sir can we do like that yes because with respect to both equivalent units the same 100% so that will not be a problem guys. Okay. We have calculated both cost of output as well as cost of closing WAP. Next, let us move to the question number 2. IL Manufacturing Limited uses process costing to manufacture water density sensors for hydro sector. The following, see, sometimes they use this fancy word for stories and all. Students will be more bothered about it. You don't care about what they are doing. Illo stay. Sir, what is that? Willow, that to this. So don't worry. You only worry about numbers. Okay, sometimes that process name and all will matter. Agrina, we should know. Okay, which is the first process, which is the second process and all. Clear? Even that some processor's name you would have heard in one of the questions we did. Clear? So they do chip manufacture, that this and all will be there. Sir, all that is a built up story. Don't get trapped there. The following information pertains to operations for the month of May. That means the questions start from year. Beginning WAP, May 1st, 16,000 units. Started in production during May, that is units introduced during the period, 1 lakh. Completed production during May, 92,000. Ending work in progress, 24,000. Closing WAP. The beginning work in progress is 60% complete for materials and 20% complete for conversion. The ending inventory was 90% complete for material and 40% complete for conversion. For both opening WAP as well as closing WAP, guys, they have given the degree of completion. They have given the degree of completion. Cost pertaining to the month of May are as follows. Beginning inventory cost or material 27,670, labor 30,120, factory overhead 12,720. Here they have given individually. Whereas degree they have given conversion. That is both labor as well as overhead put together. Cost incurred during May are material 4,79,000, labor 1,82,880, factory overheads 3,91,160. Calculate. using the FIFO method, the equivalent units of production for material, cost per equivalent unit for conversion cost. That is nothing but labor on overhead, guys. Come to the solution. Calculation of equivalent units of production. Now, sir, which method did they mention? FIFO they have mentioned. Okay. FIFO method. Okay. So first input 16 plus 1 lakh, 1 lakh 16,000. Coming to the output, guys. What is the total output transferred? 92,000. In that out of opening WAP, how much? 16,000. Guys, on 16,000, how much work is already done? With respect to material, 60% is done now. Yes. Remaining is how much? 40%. Remaining is 40%. Then for conversion, how much work is done? 20. That means what is the remaining? 80. What we do in the current period? For opening WAP, we only do the remaining work as. Okay, sir. Then completed output from unit introduced. That is out of 1 lakh. How much you have produced and sent to next process? 76,000. Sir, how did you get 76? 92,000 is the output. Minus out of opening WAP, how much? 16,000. So remaining is out of current period introduction. 76. If you want, you can show 92 minus 16. 92 minus 16. Okay, so now with respect to that, 100% is the completion rate, guys. 100% is the completion rate. Coming to closing WAP, how much is that? 24,000. Just check, is input is equal to output? 116, 116? Yes, that means there is no abnormal loss. There is no normal loss also. There is no abnormal loss. Very good. And with respect to closing WAP, what is the degree of completion? Material 90% and conversion cost 40%. What is the work done we have to take? Because this is the closing work in progress cost. So we got the equivalent units 1,04,000 for material and 98,400 for conversion cost, which is nothing but labor and overhead. Here you can take it together, but when it comes to cost, they are given separately. Please take it separately. Okay. Calculation of cost per equivalent unit for conversion cost. Direct labor, factory overhead. FIFO. That means we have to take only current period cost. Sir, should we take opening WAP? No. FIFO, first in, first out. We should take only the cost incurred in the current period. Okay. So take labor and overhead because they have asked only conversion, guys. Only conversion cost. So how much is the total conversion cost? 5,74,040. And what is the equivalent units with respect to conversion? 98,400. 98,400. Cost per equivalent unit. Guys, see here they have asked cost per equivalent unit for conversion cost. Sir, what if they had asked for labor separately, for overhead separately? Then divide individual cost with the respective equivalent units, guys. For example, 1,82,880 divided by 98,400 will be for labor. For overhead, it would be 3,91,160 by 98,400. Clear? Yes. And please be careful specifically in this question. Even though cost is given separately, they asked what? Cost per equivalent unit with respect to conversion. With respect to conversion. So that is why we added both the cost and divided by equivalent unit. Anyway, equivalent unit is same for both. Na? So we have done like that. Okay. And I repeat again, guys. When we are doing the question with respect to statement of evaluation and all, when cost is given separately, better do individually. Better do individually. That is cost per equivalent unit of labor, factory overhead also separately. But here, as they have specifically asked, they have done cost per equivalent unit. That is conversion cost per equivalent unit comes. That's all with respect to second question. Let us move to the question number 3. Following information is available regarding process 1 for the month of February. Only process 1 data is given. Production record. Units in process as on 1st February. That is opening, guys. Opening. 4,000. All material used means 100%. 25% complete for labor and overhead. New units introduced is 16,000 units. Units completed is 14,000. Units in process as on 28th February is all material used means 100%. Whereas with respect to labor and overhead it is 1/3. 1/3 or 33.33. Okay, try to tally here only. 20, 20, matching. No abnormal loss, no normal loss. Okay. Work in progress on 1st February. Cost is material, labor, overhead. You can club all three, which is 8 hours. Cost during the month 25,600 material, labor 15, overhead 15. Total comes to 55,600. What and all they was? Presuming that average method of inventory is used. Average method here is simple average, huh? No, weighted average. If they simply mention average, go with weighted average only. Clear? Guys, with respect to statement of equivalent production, cost per equivalent unit and learn, they can ask question only under two methods. What are those? P for average. Average here means weighted average. Oh. So average method of inventory is used to prepare statement of equivalent production, statement showing cost for each element, that is cost per equivalent unit, statement of apportionment of cost, process account. Process account. And everything has to go in a flow. And you have to prepare in this order only. You cannot interchange or else you will not know the figures for the next statement. Yes, sir. And guys, very easy. Very easy kind of question. Just presentation you have to take care. I know you will not commit mistake anywhere. You just take time mistake. You just take time. Okay. And you know, students struggle to complete the paper, guys. Okay, after the recent exam also, I spoke to some of my students. They told, sir, completing the paper was the toughest thing. I knew everything, but I couldn't write, sir. How painful it is. Clear, I know the entire questions, sir, but I'm not able to write it. I have prepared for 8 months, 9 months, 6 months. Okay, even during the exam day, I would have not slept properly. I would have not done anything. Study. But there 3 hours, I couldn't use effectively. Clear. Sir, for this, how can I overcome? Practice. Guys, simple. You take this question, any question, you solve. First time you will take 10 minutes. Second time, will you take same 10 minutes? No, maybe 8 minutes. Next time, 7 minutes. Next time, 6 minutes. So it keeps on coming down. That means the more you practice, the time you take for the same kind of question or similar kind of question will come down, guys. So the exam should not be your practice. Sir, this attempt, Aglila. Next attempt we will see. Okay, you don't know the work of 4 months until you lose it. Okay, now you may think, if not this attempt, next attempt. If not next attempt, next attempt. Guys, don't do that. You guys can go for the exam well prepared. Well prepared. So please do all the warm-up match, practice match, everything before only then go to the exam one. Not only for costing paper, not only for taxation paper, but any paper, guys, before the exam, try to take the mock test, which is very, very important. Sir, where should I take? There are many people, there are many players who are conducting mock test and all. Should I take with them? Guys, I'm not sure how well they do it. How well they do it. Better you trust yourself. If ICI Institute is near to you, they also conduct the exams. Okay, that is mock test. MTP, you know, na? MTP, whatever institute releases for your respective attempt, they conduct the exams, like 1 or 2. You guys can go right offline. Okay, same timings it would be 1:45 to 5. No, sir, I am from different city. In my place, they don't conduct it, or it is difficult for me to go because it is very long. It will take too much time for me to travel. Then you take up that MTP, whichever ICI releases for your attempt. Clear? And try to take up at your place home. That is your home or PG. Between 1:45 and 5 it's 1:45 to 5 itself. As if it is an exam. In between Amma calling, Papa calling, don't care. Clear? Whoever is calling. Mobile, first of all, throw it somewhere. Okay. Directly calling, avoid. As if it is an exam, you have to attend. See, in between, if you are getting up and going, coming and going, so that will not work out for you. It is as if an exam, you have to work out. And I know, guys, you will not be perfect. For sure, you will not be perfect. You will not be able to complete the paper. You will not get the marks what you expected. That's okay. Now you know what are the mistakes you have done, where you are taking more time. You can overcome at least. You have time. Till the exams, you have time to rectify the errors. And once you attend, answers also will be given, suggested answers. By whom? ICA only. Try to compare. Try to match your answer to the ICI standards. Clear? I know for the first time you will not be perfect. Don't lose the confidence. All that and all is a trial for you. Trial and error method we did the same way for you. Clear? It is a trial for you. It's okay if you go wrong. It's okay even if you get less than 40, but you have to do it. Many students with that fear, what if I don't write? What if I don't pass? Is that the exam? No. Instead of seeing unsuccessful on the screen, see it on yourself first. Clear? So that you will not see the unsuccessful result on the screen, guys. Clear? Yes, all this will help you definitely, guys, because many students will not take it seriously. They will attend the class, they will study, they think, I can manage and that. It is not auditing. It's not auditing means, sir, everything. Students, solution also costly. Oh, everything correct. 12,800. Okay, correct. No, so 16,000 into 80%. Everything is correct. Answers will be given correct only. Clear. Now you should think whether you are able to get the same. That means you have to work out. Don't do only auditing, watching. Clear. You have to work out. Guys. You have to work out. That is the only thing which is very, very important. At least try to take 1 to 2 mock tests before your exams for every paper. For every paper. And trust me, whatever mistakes you guys would have committed during this mock test, you will not repeat it in the exam because you are already aware. You will be careful. You will be cautious. Correct? Because some mistakes, assume you would have done while doing mock test. That will you do it again? No, you are not a fool. Huh? I believe it. Correct? Huh? Hello. So try to take it. Come on. Which question we were? Third. Yes. Opening WAP 4,000 and units introduced is 16,000. So the total input is 20,000. Units completed and transferred to next process 14,000. Then closing WAP is 6,000. Average method O. Average method O. Should we give a breakup of 14,000? Not required. Okay. So for 14,000 plus 6,000 matching, guys. No loss. No loss. Okay. So degree of completion for the output is 100%. No matter from where you produce. Sir, in the current period it's completed. Just take it. That's all. Closing WAP 100% with respect to material and 1/3 with respect to labor and overhead. So equivalent units for material would be 20,000, whereas for labor and overhead is 16,000. Now coming to statement of cost. Should we take only current period cost or opening WAP also? Opening WAP. We are supposed to calculate weighted average price. How do we calculate weighted average price? Total cost divided by total quantity. Total cost divided by total quantity. And here total quantity is nothing but equivalent units, guys. So with respect to work also, we took 100% full. Yes. That means with respect to cost also, should we take all the cost? Yes. So cost of work in progress, they have given in the question, guys. Individually, material, labor, overhead. Cost incurred during the month, you can see. They have given you total of both. You will get total cost of each element, then divided by equivalent units. So you can observe here, where it is given individually, did they much add up both the cost and calculate it? No. For that question, why did they do? Because it was specifically asked in the question. Specifically asked in the question, guys. So, okay, sir. We divide each other. We will get cost for equivalent unit. For material, it is 1.58. For labor, it is 1. And overhead, it is 1. Total is 3.58. Guys, in statement of cost, better maintain total column also. Because if it is output and all, straight away we will multiply with 3.58. It's better to maintain it. Oh, statement of apportionment of cost, value of units completed and transferred, which is nothing but the cost of output, 14,000 units into 3.58. That is the total cost per equivalent units. Then value of work in progress. Guys, here you can mention what is the actual units. 6,000, no? Okay. You can mention what is the actual unit 6,000, but while calculating the cost, you have to take what? Equivalent units. Okay. 6,000 into material cost per unit, 2,000 into 1, 2,000 into 1. Sir, how did we get this 2,000? The equivalent units, guys. Equivalent units with respect to labor and overhead. So please be careful while calculating the cost. When you are multiplying cost per equivalent units, your units should be equivalent units. By mistake, if you do 6,000 into here, 6,000 into 1, then you will go wrong. Clear? Because guys, simple. These figures are for what? Per equivalent units. So when you are multiplying, it should be equivalent units or actual units are equivalent units. Okay, so how much do you get? 13,480. You can tally the total. 63,600. 63,600, guys. Is it matching here? 63,600. For a weighted average method, it will be matching pakka exactly. Whereas for FIFO method, the difference would be opening WAP cost. Opening WAP cost. Okay, sir. Once we have derived the figure, now we can prepare the process 1 account. Process 1 account. Take care of this basic things and all, DRCR and all. Even process 1, let it come in the middle. Okay. Opening WAP 4,000 units, cost is 8,000. That is all put together. Material introduced during the period 16,000. What is the cost of it? 25,600. Then labor over it. Then units completed 14,000 units. What is the cost of it? 50,120. Closing WAP 6,000. What is the cost of it? 13,480. 13,480 guys. Okay. Matching up first close units column, then amount column. In this question, there is no loss and all. It is actually easy. It's actually easy, guys. Is that clear? And guys, see, here nothing to round off. Why, sir? Have they rounded off? Here, are you getting exactly 13,480 you check? Yes. Because 1.58 is exact figure, huh? Okay, then there won't be any problem. Okay, rounding off thing will come only when you are taking some rounding off. That is the decimals. Clear? Assume it is like 1.586 or 5 and all, which would have rounded off. So, for example, this is assume 1.5832 like that. So then there can be a chance of small differences which you have to round up. Okay, third one. Come to question number 4. Following details are related to the work done in process 1 by XYZ company during the month of March. Opening work in progress 2,000 units. Material, labor and overhead 80,000, 50,000, 15,000, 45,000. That is the cost. Material introduced in the process 38,000, 1480. Direct labor 3,59,000. Overheads 10,77,000. Yes, sir. Now, what is the total input, guys? What is the total input? 40,000. 40,000. Yes, sir. 40,000 is the total input. Okay. Unit scrap 3,000 units. That is total. They didn't mention normal or abnormal. That means it is total. Degree of completion, material 100, labor and overhead 80%. Take it accordingly. But this will matter only for which loss? Abnormal loss. For normal loss, we don't consider any units while computing equivalent units costs. Closing work, they will give it like this. You don't get trapped. Okay, they may also mention for normal and abnormal loss, degree of completion is so and so. Will it matter for us? No, only for abnormal loss we have to take it. Oh. Closing work in progress 2,000 units. Degree of completion is material 100%, labor and overhead 80%. Units finished and transferred to process 2 is 35,000 output, guys. So normal loss is 5% of the total input, including work in progress. So 5% of how much? 40,000, which comes to 2,000. That means remaining 1,000 is what? Abnormal loss. There itself, see, as soon as you see the question itself, everything should start connecting. Scrap units fetch 20 paisa per piece. Piece and per unit. You are required to prepare using average method. Average method again. Statement of equivalent production, statement of cost, statement of distribution cost, which is nothing but evaluation, and process 1 account, normal loss account, abnormal loss account. When they are asked like this, please do the respective accounts also. You don't ignore it. Only process 1. Okay, one process they have asked. Let us do it. Yeah. Statement of equivalent production. Guys, keep the method in mind. Okay, or else you can mention here as per average method, so that you will not miss out while calculating. Average method. Okay, first take the input. WAP, opening WAP is 2,000. Units introduced is 38. So total is 40. Coming to the output side. Completed and transferred to process 2 is 35. Normal loss is 40,000. Both put together it is. Into 5%. 2,000. Then closing WAP is there. 2,000. Check. Input is 40, whereas output is not matching with 40. So what is the balancing figure? Abnormal loss. Abnormal loss. Or else you can calculate in other way also. Total loss 3,000 is given minus normal loss. Remaining is what? Abnormal loss. Or else you can just keep it as balancing figure in this column. Either way you can do. Okay, so coming to equivalent production. Material, labor and overhead is taken together because it is same percentages. Oh. And I have already told, sir, can I do separately for labor, separately for overhead? You can do it. Simply you will end up taking more time. When degree of completion is same percentage for both labor and overhead, better present in one column. Present it in one column. Okay. So with respect to output, 100% work is done. Normal loss, I told you, we should ignore it because the cost of normal loss units will be observed by remaining units, guys. Clear? So automatically when equivalence units is down, cost per equivalent unit will go up. Abnormal loss 100% with respect to material and 80% with respect to labor and overhead. And I also told you guys, by chance for abnormal loss, if degree of completion is not given, what do you take? What do you take? 100%. If they have given, please take it accordingly. Closing WAP 100% with respect to material and 80% with respect to labor and overhead. So we got it. Sir, what is the equivalent units with respect to material? 38,000. With respect to labor and overhead, 37,400. Guys, for equivalent, as the percentage was same, we did it together. But for cost, please present it separately. They would have given cost separately for labor, separately for overhead. So should we write as two separate column? Yes. Sir, what if they have given one single conversion cost, sir? Yeah, accordingly follow it. I cannot split it now, na? I cannot split it. If they have given in the question itself conversion cost, straight away take it. Straight away take it, guys. Oh, sure. Statement showing cost for each element. Cost of opening work in progress. Sir, weighted average method now. Should we take it? Yes. So material 80,000, labor 15,000, overheads 45,000. Total is 1,40,000. Cost incurred during the month, guys. That is the period. 1480, 359, 1077. So total comes to 29,16,000. Then there is a realizable value of scrap. Sir, we are putting the normal loss units per scrap 2000 units. Yes. At what price? 20 paisa, 20 rupees, I guess. 20 rupees per piece. Piece. How many pieces? 2000 pieces. Okay. What is the scrap value? 40,000. Please reduce it from material cost. By mistake, you may reduce it from total. Obviously, if it is material, you will come to the total also. But first reduce from material. That doubt also students might get. Guys, we have taken care of all of this. So should I reduce from material, labor, overhead? It should always be from material. Clear? Yes. And if you ask me, sir, should I reduce it from opening or cost incurred during the period? Cost incurred during the period. Cost incurred during the period. Anyway, the total material cost, wherever you reduce, ultimately total material cost will get adjusted. Okay. So total cost for each material, labor, overhead you have calculated, divided by equivalent units. You will get cost per equivalent unit, guys. Material 40, labor is 10, and overhead is 30. If figures comes like this, no problem with rounding off. Very easy. Clear? Yes. Only when decimals comes, we have to take care of rounding off. Total is 80. Guys, one important thing. Under the statement of cost, maintain this column. Don't miss it up. Yeah, we'll now do the third one. That is the statement of distribution of cost, which is nothing but the statement of evaluation, guys. Yeah, in the first one, the value of output. The value of output is nothing but, sir, whatever is the number of units into the equivalent cost per unit, the total. Sir, should we show element wise? Not required. Element wise is not required. Yes, sir. 28 lakh. Next, value of abnormal loss. Here, please go element wise because the equivalent units are different, guys. So first material. What is the equivalent units? 1000. Where have we got this? Here. 1000 into what is the cost per equivalent unit for material? It is 40. Multiply. Then coming to labor and overhead, what is the equivalent units? 800. Where is it? The first calculation, guys. That is abnormal loss. 800. Yes, sir. Yes. So 800 into 10, 800 into 30. Yes, we got the value of abnormal loss to be 72,000. Then value of closing work in progress, which is material, 2000 is the equivalent units into 40. Then 1600 is the equivalent units for labor and overhead, which is equal to into 10 into 30, which comes to 1,44,000. Sir, where did you get the units from? Closing WAP. You can observe here. For material it is 2000 and for labor and overhead it is 1600. Yes, sir. Now we are done with. Now you can also cross check the total. The total you can cross check. The total comes to how much? 30 lakh 16,000. Sir, is it matching, sir? 30 lakh 16,000? Yes. Under average method, it has to match, guys. Here, sir, which method we have followed, sir? Average method or FIFO method? Average method. So it has to be exactly equal, guys. It should be exactly equal. Yes, sir. Next, we'll continue. And here, guys, instead of presenting the data like this, sir, can we present like how we did in the class and all? Yes. For example, sir, can I interchange the rows and columns? Yes. So here the columns are material, labor, overhead. Instead of that, sir, can I bring the rows as material, labor, overhead, total, and the columns as cost of opening WAP, current period cost, total cost, equivalent units, then the last cost per equivalent unit. You can do that way also. Then coming to the last one, the process account, whatever values we have already derived in, whatever values we have derived in the statement of evaluation, we need to just place them here. First, opening WAP, which is already given in the question banks. The unit is 2000, the value of it is 80,000 material, labor 15, and overhead 45. If at all, if you have a shortage of time, you can club all this, and in the inner column, you can show the calculation of the amounts and straight away write the amount. Well, units column you will write 2000 and amount you will write the total of this. Total of this. Then material introduced during the period 38,000. The cost of it is 14,80,000. Then direct labor overhead cost incurred during the period. Coming to the normal loss, 2000 units normal loss is there. The scrap value of it is 20. So the scrap value of normal loss units is 40,000. Then coming to abnormal loss, 1000 is the actual units. Please take actual units here. 1000. Then what is the value of it? 72,000. 72,000. Then coming to process one account, the output is 35,000. The cost of it is 28 lakh. 28 lakh. Then closing WAP, 2000 actual units are there. Actual units, you can write it here. Actual units, you can mention it here. Here also you can just mention 1000 actual units. So what is the cost of it? 1,44,000. 1,44,000. Yes, sir. We will match debit and credit both in terms of units as well as in terms of value. And guys, please be careful while preparing the process account. In units column, you are supposed to take actual units and not the equivalent units. Where are we supposed to take equivalent units is while calculating the values or the cost of the respective amounts. Then they have also asked normal loss, abnormal loss account. So debit, credit and all, take care guys, whether they ask or not, better just mention to be on safer side. Even for process accounts, just mention on the top TR, CR. Now coming to normal loss, whatever has been transferred here, we have just booked it. Sir, have you received it? No. Now receive it. 2040, 2000 and the scrap value of it is 40,000. Then coming to the scrap we are receiving now, sir. It is nothing but cost ledger control account. It is always considered to be non-integrated. The company or the entity is following non-integrated. Sir, what if I assume that they are following integrated? Then instead of cost ledger, you can write by bank. Sir, which is better? Better follow with non-integrated because most of the suggested answers, even in ICA, will suggest non-integrated only. That is by cost ledger. But even if you write by bank, also nothing wrong. Okay. Then coming to abnormal loss account, whatever is transferred here, receive it. 1000 units at 72,000. Even for this, do we receive scrap value? Yes, same to same. 1000 into 20 rupees, which comes to 20,000 rupees. Sir, what if they have given separately scrap value for normal loss units and abnormal loss units separately? If they have given, take it accordingly. For example, scrap value for normal loss units, assume it's given as 5 rupees, whereas for abnormal it's given as 8 rupees. Accordingly, take it, guys. Accordingly, take it. And please be careful, the scrap value of abnormal loss units, we will always record it only in the abnormal loss account and not in process account. Not in process account. Yes, sir. Then the net loss, whatever is the net loss, which is a balancing figure, we will transfer it to costing P&L account. This is the balancing figure. This is the balancing figure. Okay, done with the fourth question. Now going to the fifth one. Question number 5. Question number 5. Just a minute. Yes, sir. Let me read it. A company produces a component which passes through two processes. During the month of April, materials for 40,000 components were put into process 1, of which 30,000 were completed and transferred to process 2. So what is the output of process 1 means? 30,000. Yes, sir. Those not transferred to process 2 were 100% complete as to materials cost and 50% complete as to labor overhead cost. That is closing WAP they are talking about, which is 10,000 units. Out of 40, 30,000 is transferred to next process, means remaining 10 is considered to be closing work in progress. So 100% complete with respect to materials and 50% complete with respect to labor and overheads, guys. The process 1 cost incurred were as follows: direct material 15,000, direct wages 18,000, factory overhead 12,000. Okay, this is the cost incurred during the period. Of those transferred to process 2, 28,000 units were completed and transferred to finished goods store. Guys, process 2 you received how many units? 30,000 units. But how much they are transferring it to next process? 28. Remaining 2, something is there. There was a normal loss with no salvage value of 200 units in process 2. There were 1,800 units remained unfinished. That is nothing but closing work in progress. In process with 100% complete as to the materials and 25% complete as regards to wages and overheads. That means there is no abnormal loss because it is matching 28 plus 1,800 plus 200 is equal to 30,000. That is total input. No further process material costs occur after introduction of the first process until the end of second process, when protective packing is applied to the completed components. So packing is done only for the output. How many units are? 28,000 units. The process and packing costs incurred at the end of process 2 were as follows: packing material 4,000, direct wages 3,500, factory overheads 4,500. Required: prepare statement of equivalent production, cost per unit and process account. And they have asked process account. That means we need to also do statement of evaluation to find out the cost of output and closing WAP. Prepare the statement of equivalent production, cost per unit and process to account. Okay, they have asked both process 1 as well as process 2. Let us see. Statement of equivalent production, first one, process 1. Particulars, they have not done as input output here, they have just done it as together, guys. That's okay, because there is no much complication here with respect to normal loss, abnormal loss and all. They don't have any loss. They don't have any loss. Okay, sir. Completed units is how much? For 30,000. Then coming to closing WAP, remaining 10. How did we get 10? 40,000 minus 30,000. What is the degree of completion for it? Material 100%, labor and overhead 50-50. So equivalent units for closing WAP will be 10,000 material, whereas wages and overhead is 5,000 each. Now the total equivalent production is completed units plus equivalent units with respect to closing work in progress. So you will get the total equivalent production units. Now coming to process 1. It is not process 1 account, it is just we are doing process 1. Okay, what is the process cost? 15,000, 18,000 and 12,000. There is nothing opening WAP, so here only current period cost. As there is no opening WAP, you need not even worry about method also. You need not even worry about the method to be followed, guys, because only when there is opening WAP, we have to be concerned. Are we following the FIFO method or weighted average method? Okay. Equivalent production units is how much? 40, 35, 35. So calculate cost per equivalent unit. Divide 2 by 3. Divide 2 by 3. Okay, sir. Next, WAP equivalent units is how much? 10, 5, 5. They have taken it here. 10, 5, 5. Then what is the cost of the closing WAP? They have just multiplied this with cost per equivalent unit. You have got the cost of work in progress. Now what they have done is they have transferred, they have calculated the cost of output as balancing figure. For example, total process cost minus the cost of WAP is giving them what? The cost of output. The cost of output. Alternatively, can I calculate like this also, sir? Can I take the equivalent units of the output, multiply that with the cost per unit? Yes, you can do that also. You will get the cost of output. So this is the cost of WAP. This is the cost of output. Now coming to process account. So first, what is the input? 40,000 units at a cost of 15,000. Wages, factory overhead is given, record as it is. Now coming to process to how much we are transferring? 30,000 units at a cost of 36,965. Next, what is the closing WAP? 10,000 units. What is the cost? Actual units. Please be careful. What is the cost of it? 8,030. 8,035. So just tally the units and amount column. It will automatically get tallied, guys. Now coming to the process 2 part. Process 2 again, completed units is 28. Out of 30,000, they have transferred only 28,000 units to the next process. Okay, sir. Closing WAP is 1,800 units. In that, the degree of completion 100%, 25%, 25%. So accordingly, you will calculate equivalent units. So the total equivalent units would be completed units plus equivalent units with respect to closing WAP. If you add up both, you will get equivalent production units. Now coming to cost calculation. Take the process cost, whatever is the process cost. Material cost is nothing but the cost of input, guys. Whatever you would have transferred from process 1, that will become the material cost or input cost for process 2. Take that. Other than that, they have also incurred wages and overhead cost. Take it. Sir, what about packing? We will take it later because that is only for completed units, guys. Okay. Then equivalent units, whatever we would have got here, take the same, then divide each of the cost by equivalent units. You will get cost per equivalent unit. Then take the WAP units, that is equivalent units with respect to closing WAP, multiply both. You will get the cost of closing WAP. Now find out the cost of output as a balancing figure. How is it, sir? Process cost, that is total process cost, minus cost of closing WAP. You will get the cost of output. This is nothing but for output. And here, whatever we have got, 42,607 is not the final output cost. Is not the final output cost. For that, we need to also add 4,000. What is this 4,000, sir? Packing done in process 2 only for what? Completed materials. As it is only for completed materials, we are taking it here. Sir, why didn't you take it in material? Why didn't you add it for material, sir? Because if you guys add it to the material, then you are also spreading to closing WAP. Have we incurred this for closing WAP? No, we have incurred only for completed units cost. That means I am adding it for only cost of output. Whatever we have already got 42,607, we are just adding it. So what is the cost of closing output or output? We are transferring it to the next process. 46,607. Okay. Whereas for WAP it would be 2,358. That means we have not incurred any packing cost for WAP, sir. No, we have not incurred. Maybe once it is ready, we will incur the packing cost for it. So this is one of the key adjustment for this question. Now coming to the process 2 account. First we see whatever has been transferred from process 1 account, receive it. 30,000 units at 36,965 rupees. Plus wages, factory overhead and packing charges we have to take. Packing charges is separately debited here. Now coming to finished stock or output, which we have transferred to next process. How much is the units? 28,000. What is the cost of it? 46,607, guys. Please don't take 42,607. Then you will be wrong. Debit and credit will not match. Why, sir? Because we would have debited separately packing charges also here. So you have to take 46,607. Normal loss 200, we are just recording it here and there is no scrap value. That is why we didn't reduce also here. If by chance, if there is a scrap value of normal loss units, then I should be reducing it here, guys, from material cost. Yes, sir. So there is no scrap value. So dash. Whereas in units you have to take it, sir. Anyway, scrap value is not there. So I will ignore it here also. No, units will not match. Units will not match. So by WAP, work in progress stock, 1,800 units, actual units. Please be careful. So what is the amount of it? 2,358, guys. Okay. That's all about the process 2 account. Process 2 account. Yeah. Let us move to the next question. Question number 6, guys. Question number 6. Healthy Sweets is engaged in the manufacturing of jaggery. Its process involves sugarcane crushing for juice extraction, then filtration and boiling of juice along with some chemicals in the sweets, okay? And then letting it cool to cut solidified jaggery blocks. The main process of juice extraction, process 1, is done in conventional crusher, which is then filtered and boiled in iron pots. The solidified jaggery blocks are then cut, packed and dispatched. Okay. Now actual number starts from here, guys. For manufacturing 10 kg of jaggery, 100 kg of sugarcane is required, which extracts only 45 liter of juice. That means remaining 55% is what? Waste. What waste? Normal loss. Because that is not in our hand. Sir, if I do anything, can I get 100 liters? No, not possible. Maximum you can get is 45 liters. Following information regarding process 1 has been obtained from the manufacturing department of Healthy Sweets for the month of January. Opening work in progress 4,500 liter is there. Sugarcane 50,000, labor 15,000, overheads 45,000. Sugar introduced for juice extraction, that is during the current period, 1 lakh kgs. Rupees 5 lakh, direct labor 2 lakh, overheads 6 lakh. Abnormal loss is how much? 1000 kgs. Degree of completion, sugarcane, that is with respect to abnormal loss. Sugarcane is 100, labor and overhead is 80%. Closing work in progress, 9,000 liters. Sugarcane, degree of completion, sugarcane 100%, labor and overhead is 80%. Extracted juice transferred for filtering and boiling, that is for the next process is 39,500 liter. Consider mass of 1 liter of juice equivalent to 1 kg. So wherever they have given in few places liter, in few places kgs, guys. Sir, liter is equal to kg here. That means 1 liter is equal to 1 kg. So we can interchangeably use it. You are required to prepare using average method, that is weighted average method. Guys, whenever they are asking questions on process costing, on equivalent production or cost per equivalent unit, it can be either asked for average cost method, that is weighted average, or FIFO method. Only these two possibilities are there. Okay, and whenever they use the word average method, it is understood that it is a weighted average method. You are required to prepare using the average method statement of equivalent production, statement of cost, statement of distribution cost, which is nothing but the statement of evaluation, then process 1. Process 1. Sure. We'll move to the answer, solution. Yes. Statement of equivalent production. First input you take 4,500 liter is given, which is equivalent to kgs. So we are taking together. Units introduced is 1 lakh kgs. So totally 1 lakh 4,500 is the input. Now output is 39,500, which is transferred to next process, average method. So we are not giving up any breakup between like how much is out of opening WAP, how much is due to current period introduction. We are not giving any breakup. Okay. Now coming to normal loss. Guys, they are clearly told, sir, out of 100 kg of sugar cane, we can extract only 45 liter of juice. That means remaining 55. 1 kg is equal to 1 liter. Yes. So remaining 55 is what, sir? Normal loss. We can maximum extract this 45 liter. And is it due to our mistake? No. So that means what loss it is? Normal loss. So thus the normal loss would be 55%. Sir, 55% of 1 lakh 4,500 or only 1 lakh? It is only 1 lakh, guys. Why so? Because this is already introduced into the process. Material wise already completed, sir? Yes. That means if at all if there was any loss on opening WAP, it would have already been considered. When, sir? Last period. Last period. So now in the current period, we have introduced how much sugar cane? Only 1 lakh kgs. So loss, if any, we have to book it on what? 1 lakh. So please be careful. Normal loss might change from question to question. Normally, if they give 5 or 10% on the total input, including the opening WAP, we used to take it on both put together. But here, it is only on 1 lakh. Considering, sir, on this already material is considered. So, if at all, if there is any loss, they would have already considered it in the last period. Okay, so 55,000 it comes to. Then, I guess abnormal loss as well as closing WAP, both they are given now. Yes, abnormal loss, closing WAP, both is given. That means you just tally it. No need to find out balancing figure also. No need to find out balancing figure also, guys. Okay, everything is given. Everything is given. Now just tally it. It should match input and output. Only then proceed further. Now coming to the equivalent production calculation. So completed units 100% work is done. Yes. So whereas the normal loss we will not consider anything for units calculation because whatever is the cost of normal loss units will be observed by remaining units, guys. Abnormal loss 100% complete with respect to material, both abnormal loss as well as closing WAP, whereas with respect to labor and overhead 80%. So accordingly calculate. Sorry, this is full amount, full value, whereas the last part labor and overhead would be 1000 into 80%, 800, 9000 into 80%, 7200. Now coming to the equivalent units. With respect to material, it is 49,500. With respect to labor and overhead, it is 47,500. Now coming to statement of cost. This is one of the important adjustment here. You can mark a star. Statement showing cost. Okay, here also as well as here, which is connected to it. Statement showing cost for each element. Opening work in progress to be added. Yes, as we are under weighted average method, you have to consider the total cost plus current period cost. You will get total divided by equivalent units. You will get cost per equivalent unit. Cost per equivalent unit. They have taken three decimals. Even if you take 2 decimals also, it's fine. But if third decimal is 5 or more, round off the second decimal to next number. Sir, what if you are taking 3 decimals? There also same story. If fourth decimal is 5 or more, round off the third decimal to next number. Okay. The total cost per equivalent unit is 29 rupees point 216, guys. 216. Oh, now value of output is 39,500 into the equivalent cost per unit, which is 29.216. 11 lakh 54,032. Then coming to value of abnormal loss, take element wise material 1000 units into material cost per equivalent unit. Then for labor and overhead, 800 into the respective cost, whatever we would have got here. Whatever we would have got here. Sir, can we merge labor and overhead and write together? For example, 800 into the total of this two, that is 4.526 plus 13.579. Yes, we can do that also, alternatively. But I suggest show element wise only when the costs are given separately. So you'll get value of abnormal loss 25,595. Then coming to value of closing WAP, sugarcane 9,000 is the equivalent units into material cost per equivalent unit. Then labor and overhead same equivalent units into cost per equivalent units. Whatever we would have got in the previous table, guys. So we got value of closing WAP. So here also, as we are following weighted average method, the total has to match. The total cost is 14 lakh 10,000. Here the total has to come as 14 lakh 10,000. If there is any difference, adjust it maybe in the last figure. You can round it off. You can round it off, guys. They have round off in process account, but better what I suggest is you can round off here itself. Sir, where will I round off with what amount? You can round off with any of the three, but I suggest whichever is the last one you can go with, so that it would be easy for you, so that the total will match. So I guess 18 rupees difference you will get. Better you can adjust it with value of closing work in progress. The last one is process account. Process account. Opening WAP, take 4,500 units at a cost of sugarcane 50, labor 15 and overhead 45. Then units introduced during the period 1 lakh at a cost of 1 lakh units or kgs at a cost of 5 lakh. Direct labor 2 lakh, overhead 6 lakh. Yes, sir. Now coming to the credit side. Normal loss 55,000 units is there, but there is no scrap value of it. Hence, we are taking 0. Even if by chance if there is a scrap value, guys, here you have to reduce it from material cost. From material cost, you have to reduce. Sir, which period of material cost? Current period material cost. Go with that. From 5 lakh, if at all, if there is any scrap value, you will reduce. Okay, sure. Now coming to value of abnormal loss, 1,000, and what is the value of it? 25,595, but 18 rupees difference they have adjusted here, so they have taken it as 25,613. Next is process 2 account 39,500 units at a cost of 11,54,032. You can actually adjust the difference here also, as exactly 18 rupees short is there. You can make it as 50. But do it in any one amount, not with all the things, then you will cross the difference. Then closing WAP 9,000 units at a cost of 2,30,355. They've actually done the round off in process account, but I would suggest do it here itself so that same amounts you can carry to the process accounts. That's all. Now coming to the last question, that is case scenario. Case scenario. Arnav Limited manufactures chemical solution used in paint and adhesive products. Chemical solutions are produced in different processes. Some of the processes are hazardous in nature, which may result in fire accidents. At the end of the last month, one fire accident occurred in the factory. The fire destroyed some of the paper files containing records of the process operations for the month. You, being an associate to the chief manager, finance, are assigned to prepare the process accounts for the month during which the fire occurred. From the documents and files of the other sources, following information could be retrieved. All these are stories, guys. The actual question or the numbers will start from here. Opening work in progress at the beginning of the month was 500 liters. 80% complete for labor and 60% complete for overheads. Opening work in progress was valued at 2,78,000. So they are not given anything with respect to material. What should we consider? Assume with respect to material 100% complete, guys. 100% complete. Closing work in progress at the end of the month was 100 liters, 20% complete for labor and 10% complete for overheads. Normal losses 10% of the input, fresh inputs, okay? And total losses during the month were 800 liters, partly due to fire damage. Okay, 800 due to fire damage. Output transferred to finished goods was 3,400 liters. Losses have a scrap value of 20 rupees per liter. All raw materials are added at the commencement of the process. Okay, that means we can understand even for opening WAP or closing WAP, the degree of completion would be 100%. The cost per equivalent unit is 660 for the month, made up as follows. Okay, cost per equivalent unit is already given. Raw material 300, labor 200, and overhead 160. That is cost per equivalent unit, guys, element wise. The company uses FIFO method to value work in progress and finished goods. The following informations are required for managerial decisions. What all they have asked? How much quantity of raw material introduced during the month? The quantity of normal loss and abnormal loss are dash. Then value of raw materials added to the process during the month is. Then value of labor and overhead is closing work in progress. In closing work in progress, the last one is the value of output transferred to finished goods is. Oh, so there are totally 5 requirements. We will see one by one. First one, the material introduced we need to find out, guys. We need to just do it like input output, like how we used to do in statement of equivalent production, input output in the starting point. We need to just do that. So first we will take opening work in progress, which is already given in the question, 500. This they have not given, so it is a question mark. Transfer to finished goods 3,400. Total loss is 800. Then closing WAP is 100. So on the output side you will get 4,300 minus 500. You will get the balancing figure as 3,800. That are the fresh units which are introduced during the period, guys. And please be careful, they have told clearly normal loss is on this fresh, not on the total. It is only on the fresh. Okay, so out of the total loss 800, how much is normal loss? 10% of 3,800. 3,800 into 10%. Remaining balancing figure is my abnormal loss. So normal loss is 380 liters, whereas abnormal loss is 420 liters gas. So the answer is A there. First one D, second one A. Third, third one, what they have actually asked is, what is the cost of material introduced? What is the cost of material introduced during the period? That means they are asking, what is the cost of this, guys? 3,800 is there now. What is the cost of this? Have they given it? No. Sir, material is given. That is cost per equivalent unit. Cost per equivalent unit. So we need to find out what is the cost of the material introduced. For that, we need to first calculate equivalent units, guys. Sure. So input output we already discussed. Okay. So your normal loss, closing WAP, abnormal loss, everything has to come. With respect to equivalent production calculation, opening WAP, guys, company is following FIFO method. Please be careful. Output is how much totally? 3,400. Out of opening WAP, how much? 500. Remaining 2,900 is out of fresh units, which is introduced during the period. That means on this already 100% material work is done. So 0 now. On labor, 80% work is done. That means remaining 20% now. With respect to overhead, 60% work is already done. Remaining is how much? 40%. So we need to calculate the equivalent units accordingly. Then coming to fresh units, 100% is the degree of completion. So you will get same equivalent units. Normal loss, just ignore it for units calculation. Then closing WAP, material 100% done. Labor 20%, overhead 10%. Accordingly calculate the equivalent units, guys. Then abnormal loss. Have they given the degree of completion? Have they given the degree of completion? They are not given, I think. Just a minute. Let us check it. For loss, they are not given degree of completion. Yeah, they are not given. That means you need to just take 100%. I had given a note in my note concept book, guys. When for abnormal loss, if degree of completion is not given, consider it as 100%. So 420 each. Please be careful. Normal loss you need to just ignore, whereas for abnormal loss you have to take. Why so? Because we will value it separately. We will value it separately. Now coming to value, guys. Now you can see the equivalent units with respect to material is 3,420. And what is the cost per equivalent unit? Question itself is it's given in the question itself. So the total cost come to 10,26,000. For that we are adding scrap value. What is the scrap value, sir? 380 units at 20 rupees. Scrap value. 380 units at 20 rupees, which comes to 7,600. So what is the value of material introduced? 10,33,600. Now there is another way also, sir. How did they get it? They have just done the reverse calculation, guys. How is it? I will show you here. Cost per equivalent unit. How do you get? We have an equation for it. Take the material purchase cost or just material cost minus scrap value of normal loss units. You will always reduce the scrap value of normal loss units from where? Material cost. Okay, sir. Then divide it by equivalent units. What do you get? Material cost per equivalent unit, which is already given in the question, 300. Now we don't know this. I am keeping it as question mark. Scrap value do we know? 380 into 20. We know it. Then equivalent units for material we know 3,420. Just cross multiply. 300 into 3,420. Then you take this to the other side. Minus will become plus. So material purchase cost is how much? 10,33,600, guys. It is nothing but the cost of material which is introduced into the process. Sir, what did you follow here, sir, guys? Whatever we regularly normally do this calculation now. We normally take material cost 10,33,600. From that, we will reduce scrap value of normal loss units 7,600 in my case. So you will get net material cost divided by equivalent units with respect to material. Now what do you get? Material cost for equivalent unit. But this was already given in the question. We just went reverse. We just went reverse. So if you guys want, you can just make a note of this, because whatever they have done straight away calculation they have done. If at all, if you want to make a note of it. Yes. We'll proceed further. So the answer for this is 10,33,600. Then the fourth one. Fourth one, value of labor and overhead in closing work in progress. Value of labor and overhead in closing work in progress. How much is that, sir? Closing work in progress, what is the equivalent units for labor? 20. What is the cost per equivalent unit? 200. Given in the question, guys. Last part given in the question. Then overhead is how much? 10. Multiply that with cost per equivalent unit. What do you get? Cost. Total cost. So now add up both. 5,600. 5,600, guys. Then the last one, value of output transferred to finished goods. Output transferred is how much? 3,400. And what is the cost per equivalent unit? Cost per equivalent unit is 660. Okay, whatever is given in the question, you need to add up. Here it is not given. Just a minute, I will show you. 300 plus 200, 500 plus 160, 660, guys. 660. You need to take that. Yes, which comes to 22 lakh 44,000. 22 lakh 44,000. C is the answer. Yes, this is all about the process costing chapter. So here we have come to the end of 10th chapter. That means 2/3 of the chapters we have completed, guys.